so a couple of you have been asking to show me tearing this transmission apart because you want to know how to do it. I've only torn apart a F and H series style transmission, so I'm not sure if this applies to like B and D series as well. I'm sure it's similar, but they have like the push rod style and these are the cables, so I'm not positive about that, but I will show you guys how to pull this one apart. So this is the tranny we got from the You Pull and Pay. This one has 250,000 miles on it. So I'm gonna pull it apart and hopefully the synchros are good. And I'm mainly just pulling it apart just to check it out right now. I'm not gonna be putting it into the hatch just yet because that tranny still has some more passes on it. So I wanna get the most use out of that one before I swap it because it's a lot of work and I'm lazy. But for now, I can at least pull this one apart because I will need the gear set out of this one because when I do drop the tranny out of the hatch, I need to pull out my LSD out of that transmission and then put it into here because I want to keep the LSD obviously. So yeah, so that's it for that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start by pulling this cover off right here. It's got 4 bolts and yeah, that's just where I start. So I'll take it from there. I'm gonna go grab a 10mm and pop this guy off right here. All right, so I got these 4 bolts out right here. There's just the 4 on each corner. And then right after you get those out, you just gotta tap it with a hammer. There's a little tab up under here. Like, I'm pretty sure that's what that's for, but either way, I smack it with a hammer to get it off. So just take a hammer and get that off. It's just held on with like gasket sealer and like these 2 little pins that are pressure fitted in there. There you go. Okay, so once you get that top part off, you're gonna wanna take this bolt off right here. There's a little tab, and you wanna bend that out to get this bolt off. And that bolt holds this whole assembly to this shifter thing right here. And then you're gonna have to back out this Allen along the back. As you can see, that goes down in there, and this catches on it right there, that gold piece. So you're gonna wanna back that out so it doesn't catch on there anymore. And then once you get both of those out, you'll be able to slide all of these pieces out. You'll pull this straight out and then just kind of collect all this stuff and just remember the order how it goes, but it can only go back together one way anyway. So it's not too big of a deal, so don't be worried about that. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this bolt out and back that out as well, and then I'll show how to pull it apart. Okay, so I got that Allen backed out enough to where it's out of the way, and got this bolt all the way out. To get this tab out of the way, I just used a little flathead. So you just bend that guy out of the way, then this comes right out like that, all in one piece. You can just leave that together. I went ahead and got a little cup too to keep all my bolts in. And so then once you get those out, this just slides right out. Just pull this and then kind of keep this stuff together just like that. And then down in there is the shift forks and stuff, but you don't need to worry about that. Just leave those in there and you're done with that. And if you're wondering, I forgot to mention this, there is no gasket along right here. You just use gasket sealer. So when you put these back together, you just have to scrape the old gasket maker off and just get some new gasket maker from like a hardware store or something and use that to put it back together. All right, now that I got that apart, I went ahead and flipped the tranny so it's facing down. And now what we need to do is go ahead and take out all these 12mm bolts right here around this top half of the casing. So those guys go all the way around. Gonna need to get all of those out. Don't worry about this bolt right here or this one right here. This one is to fill it, and then this one is to drain it when it's on the car. So you can leave those 2 in place. And some other ones you're gonna have to take out as well is these 2 14s up here. You're gonna have to take these 2 side ones out as well. And when you take these ones out, they are gonna have a little like a ball bearing and a spring that will come out with them. So just make sure you don't lose that. And you also need to take out this bolt right here on the side as well. Oh, there's the little spring inside of there. And then, hold on a second. Let me tip this to get the ball out. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so there's the little ball bearing. So both of these will have that, and they'll just have this with the spring and the ball bearing right there. So just make sure you don't lose those. So like I said earlier, I just get a little cup, keeps it nice so you don't lose parts. Okay, so I went ahead and got all the bolts I needed to get out and around the top half, and I got all the bolts out of the side and everything. So what you're gonna need to do is take off this cover right here, and I'm not sure where the cap to that went, but all it is a 1/2 inch ratchet, and you just shove that in there and break that free, get that guy out. And then under that is gonna be, you'll see a bearing, and then like this little, there's like a snap ring in there. And I already went ahead and pulled it apart. I wish I filmed it because I didn't realize that I won't be able to put it back into its original place to show you how to get it out. But all you need is a pair of needle nose pliers, and it's really easy. All you do is get it in between those two little tabs and then just kind of pry it apart. And then once you get it far enough, you'll feel the set of gears kind of drop just barely, and then it'll stay open on its own. And then once it does that, you're good to go ahead and pry the case off. So I was just gonna try to show you that. It's kind of hard to see in there, but you'll know what I mean if you actually try this yourself. You just put some needle nose pliers in there and then just pry them really far apart and you'll be good. It's super easy. So now that I got that snap ring out of place, all the bolts should be good to go. So now I can go ahead and pry it apart. There's a couple tabs on the outside if you want to use like a hammer if you don't have a pry bar or something. But it's easiest if you just grab a pry bar and get it in between one of these tabs right here. It's what it's made for. And then just put some weight on it and try to pry it apart. You might have to play with it a little bit, but it's usually pretty easy. So yeah, as you can see, that already pried right apart without any effort. Yeah, and then once you get it free like that, then you can just go ahead and pull it off. And just be gentle with it when you pull it off. And there you go. It's apart. Now let's see here. Yeah, and be careful with this guy too. This will fall off a lot, so just leave that into place. Well, I can tell you right now that these synchros are in way better shape than mine are. That one, first gear looks a little rough, but let's see. Third and fourth look good, and that's the most important.
Your first should be good anyway.
Yeah.
And that other transmission.
Oh yeah.
So you shouldn't even need that.
Okay, are you still filming right now?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try to explain how to tell if they're good. At least this is what I was told, which makes sense. So if you look right here, is it pretty focused?
Yeah.
So there's this little gold piece right here. This is the synchro right here. And then the piece right above that is the gear itself. And what you want is you want these little gold tabs to look like houses pretty much. So it'll be a square with a little pointed end. So it'll be like little houses. And you'll know they're bad because they're just completely flattened off and ground from grinding gears and stuff. So I guarantee when we pull my other transmission, I bet all these synchros are gonna be flat, and even the gear I bet is gonna be flat up here. The gear too is a big one because when I messed up my other transmission, all these on the, like they're dark gray right in here. As you can see on this one, they look like little houses. They have a little point to them. They almost look like little arrows. And on my first one I pulled apart, these were completely flattened off and it would like not go into gear pretty much at all. So this one looks definitely way better. I mean, it's pretty worn out, but this one will last for a while. So that'll be good. So I guess in the next one, whenever I get to it, I'll show you guys how to actually pull this apart and pull it out of there. But for now, this is all I'm gonna do to it. But yeah, for 250,000 miles, this tranny looks pretty good. It's nice and clean in there. Where's the magnet at actually too? Yeah, there's this little magnet right here. No significant amount of shavings. This collects little bits that will wear off. It'll always have some stuff on there, but I'm definitely happy with this one. This is what actually will hold an LSD. So like I said, what I'm gonna have to do when I pull the transmission out of my hatch eventually is I'm gonna have to swap this whole gear right here. So, and take all this apart, and I'll show you guys all that once I actually do it. But for those of you who are wondering how to pull a tranny apart, that's how you do it. Not sure how in depth that was, but hopefully that answered any of your questions. So yeah, so now this tranny is just gonna sit there for a bit because I'm gonna probably do a few more pulls in the hatch. We might take it out to a couple more meets before I worry about that. And it is starting to get cold out, so snow's gonna be coming soon. So honestly, I'm thinking we should just wait on the hatch and get this in like while it's cold out, because I don't want it to be down while there's still some nice days left. Yeah, and I'm also really impressed with this transmission. This one also had over 220,000 miles on it out of the Accord I pulled it out of, and that was almost a year ago, just about a year ago, and it's held up this long. And this tranny has seen nothing but at least 450 horsepower and up, and I go hard on it every time I take the car out. I mean, I'm slamming it into gear. So that was a $100 transmission, and it's almost lasted a year, completely stock. So I'll take it. And so this one should last quite a while as well. And my plan is, once this one does eventually go out, then I'm gonna put some money into the transmission and start building it. But until then, this one should be good enough for now. And yeah, gotta get Charlie's Wago done too. Gotta get that back on the road. It's his only car right now. You can't even leave the house.
I'll just fucking sit around all day.
Just look at memes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so also pretty soon I'm probably gonna be fixing to put the snow tires back on my Wago, get it ready for winter. Might have our first snow tomorrow actually, up to an inch. Even though today was like 80 degrees. But there you go guys. This video is mainly just for the couple people that were asking how to pull it apart. So kind of boring, but I wanted to show them how to do it just in case they needed help with that. But yeah, it's really not hard at all. Just make sure all the bolts are out and make sure you just collect everything in a little cup or something like that and you'll be fine. Because I remember the first time I did it, I was a little worried about it, like losing it, and it's kind of scary to pull a tranny apart for the first time because I mean it looks pretty complicated, but it's really not that bad. So only way to learn is to do it, and that's how I learned.